Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Box Seat. I'm Adam McGrath and joined by Mark Olmos. Mark, 7 races to take a look at, staying race to start, and some interesting conditions again in Perth.
Yeah, I think there might be a bit of value around here, especially with the better track conditions will certainly help our cause.
Well, let's take a look at those conditions now, and as we always do say, just keep an eye on the RAWA website because we have had the rain during the week, but some nice weather at the moment as well. The movable rail is out 12 metres now. That has suited on-speed runners in recent times, so do keep an eye out for that as well. But let's get straight into race number 1. It is a Class 5 handicap over the 2,200 metres, Mark.
Also quickly interesting to note that there is no cutaway with the 12 metre position, just to let the punters know there. We'll go straight into the replay of the race number 1. Number 3, 888, running second last start at Northam.
Frogs Are Leaping has gone up on the outside. It draws to the lead from Successful Choice. Like a Mince coming through. One off the fence. Teddy Bear Dance battling on an 888 down the outside. Winding up. Lady Valor and Manaka Singer behind them. It's Like a Mint in front. Leads by a length. 888 coming at it on the outside. Like a Mint at 888. Like a Mint the inside. 888 the outside. Like a Mint lifting on the inside. And Like a Mint wins the second. Gets there by...
A strong performance there by 888, attacking the line nicely over the 2,200 metres now. As you know, Mark, one of my formulas is always just let the horse step out to that distance and then you know that they're ready to go for that next start. So this horse will improve a lot from that. I like the form lines around Like a Mint. It jumped from barrier 13 on that occasion as well. Comes into barrier 4 here, drops to 55.5 kilos and gets the informed jockey in the state on board in Jared Noski.
Absolutely. By Sebring as well, who was a Golden Slipper winner, and he gets a horse here that can get out to 2,200 metres, and it showed that it can stay no worries. Also, Criterion was one of those horses, stayed in the Melbourne Cup to run third. So really nice horse. If you swap the runs in the race from Like a Mint and 888, I think 888 wins probably by a couple lengths, maybe even 3 lengths. It had to do a mountain of work from the point at the turn and just ran on really, really strongly. Like a Mint was in behind them with a dream run. So it should be the one to beat, but also in the race there's number 1 PADDY, who drops down in class significantly.
Well, I think this is the one to beat. I think you can't ignore the form lines. Go back 4 starts ago, we were beaten 2 lengths by Shintamani, then beaten 3 lengths by Material Man and 2 lengths by Dust Me Off. They are genuine Saturday form lines. Now you add the 3 kilo claim to Taylor Stone, and this horse gets in magnificently in the weights as well. So a massive positive here. Has never placed at Belmont Park, but I think that stat sort of is irrelevant when you look. It's finished 5th and 6th and 4th, so you know it can handle the track fine. As I said, those form lines are the one to beat.
And how well is Taylor Stone riding? She's riding out of her skin at the moment, riding winners everywhere for a good stable in Lindsay Smith as well, riding nice winners. You'll get on some nice horses if you ride winners over there. Also in the race, we have number 5 there, Crafty Red. Now you look at its last 2 runs behind Fathoms of Gold. They were both pretty good runs, and Fathoms of Gold has since come out and won Saturday grade.
Winning form lines, aren't they, as you mentioned? And that's what I like with PADDY as well, and that's what I like with this galloper. Then you add in barrier 2, the 55 kilos as well, so drops that 1.5. And just in the small field, I think you can really run a race. Just sit behind them nicely, pull out the top of the straight, and you know that this gelding's going to stay all day, so it has to be in your numbers as well. But I'm going with those Saturday form lines that we spoke about previously, with number 1 PADDY, from 6 Mystic Dust with William Pike getting on board, 5 Crafty Red and 3 888.
As you mentioned, a small field of stayers, Adam. Anything can happen. I've gone the 5 on top, Crafty Red, with those good form lines. From the 1, PADDY, number 3, 888, and the 6, Mystic Dust.
Race number 2 at Belmont Park. It's Perth race number 4 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,200 metres in a Class 5 handicap. And Mark, I'm really excited about seeing Regal Gleam go around again. It'll be looking for 3 wins in a row. The last start had absolutely no right to win after being pressured early. And then you look at the form lines with Chocoholic and Big Caroline. Both have won since.
Yeah, she's an informed mare, and you know what they say about informed mares, Adam. You stick with them. Let's have a look at the replay of her last start win, beating Big Caroline.
For an inside runner, it's down on the inside of Prime Witness, 2 lengths to Do You Do, and down the outside Angelic Angel, over towards the inside Crown Choice, Giggity Giggity Goo. Regal Gleam has shaken off Pirate's Fortune. Big Caroline keeps coming though from Seal with a Kiss. Regal Gleam kicks but rolls back to the inside the 100 from Big Caroline. Regal Gleam giving plenty and finding hard. Regal Gleam beat off Big Caroline.
Well, as you know, Mark, this was one of my best bets of the day. I thought it was the best bet for a long time, but at the top of the straight, I was nervous. I just thought she'd been pressured too much. And that was something we talked about in the preview for our Singapore punters, was if they take her on with the speed in the race, she might be left vulnerable. Top of the straight, she looked gone. And Cole Nowlan mentioned that as well, the stable representative, that they thought she was going to struggle. But she just found another gear. She kicked on the inside and lifted. And then she pulled away from them late. So it was a really impressive performance there, winning by over a length. Big Caroline came out and won last Wednesday. So as I said, those form lines hold up. Drawn nicely in barrier 5, 57.5 kilos. It goes up to 60 plus and carries carries half a kilo less. I still think she's the one to beat.
Yes, I'm not sure what they were doing on Pirate's Fortune on that occasion. That was just a suicide mission to try to take on Regal Gleam, and I really liked the ride there from Aaron Mitchell as well. He held the inside, he didn't panic, he didn't try to push her up to get in front of Pirate's Fortune. Let Pirate's Fortune go, knowing it'd fade, and gave Big Caroline the nice run in the race. And Big Caroline, as you mentioned, has since come out and win. I think it's certainly one of the ones to beat. We've also got in the race number 8 there, Massachusetts. Now, she finally got that second win of her career, which she needed. The blinkers went on. The blinkers stay on. It could be the making of this mare.
Yeah, intriguing, wasn't it? We mentioned going into this race a weakish type of animal, and that's what we'd all seen. And I spoke to the owner, and they agreed. It's the first time that I put her on top, got sucked in, and we managed to get the win. And the reason why was the blinkers, and that was the big thing. And it was a race where I think we mentioned again on BoxSeat just that it ticked more of the boxes. You knew that she was going to get that nice run. She had the barrier, the lightweight, the blinkers on. It was her time to stand up. Now we see the question mark. Is the second up run with the blinkers on going to back her down? Is she going to put in that inconsistent performance like we've seen before? It's hard to understand, but the form lines around Uptown Funk, Audience, Regal Gleam, they're good enough to win this race.
Lindsay Smith's always had the opinion that this mare has plenty of ability. As a filly, she probably should have showed more, but she's starting to show it now. And with that massive weight advantage on Regal Gleam, I think she can run Regal Gleam down. Adam, what are your selections?
I'm going to go with number 1, Regal Gleam on top from 8, Massachusetts, 4, Ominous Warning, and 2, Queen of Choice.
I'm going with the 8 to nab the 1, Massachusetts on top of number 1, Regal Gleam, number 3, She Rules All, and 2, Queen of Choice.
Race number 3 at Belmont Park. It's Perth race number 5 for our Singapore viewers. It's over the 1,200 metres. Intriguing affair here for some gallopers that are lightly raced, being the youngsters, and a fair bit of speed in the race as well.
And form lines which have been franked, Adam. Those of the ones behind Get Over It, which Deadly Shot comes out of. Let's have a look at that nice last start third.
Get Over It is starting to wind up well, and further back is SAMOVARE. Inside the 250 though, Get Over It races to the lead from Diamond Jolson, followed then by Petite Dancer. SAMOVARE and Enchanted Dream from the tail of the field is coming with a brilliant finishing run. Get Over It is the leader. Down the outside, coming very quickly, Enchanted Dream and also Deadly Shot, but Get Over It scrambled.
It was a nice performance there, wasn't it, by the Simon Miller galloper. Was backed well on course as well, but just ran into a very nice one in Get Over It, which, as you mentioned, those form lines have held up with another very impressive victory on Saturday. Jumps from a wide gate again. There was barrier 9 last start, barrier 8 here, but I just think from that performance, if this horse doesn't even improve, runs that same length, it just wins this race. So I think this is a pretty nice type that we're going to see and should be winning this race.
Also number 10, SAMOVARE, beautiful Savabeel filly. We saw her in the yard. She looked really, really well on that occasion behind Get Over It as well. Staying at 1200s, I'm not questioning Dan Morton, but staying at 1200, would have liked to see go out to 1400. We'll soon see that. But we saw that with the likes of Fermentation, who's running later on in the day as well. Last preparation, they just explosive over 1200, and we wondered why Fred didn't take her out to 1400. Stayed at 1200 and was a bit flat, so it'll be interesting to see what we see with this filly.
Backed off the map first up as well. That's one thing you definitely have to note. Jumped as $3.20 favourite in the end. Whether it's just the programming that they haven't gone on, I'm not sure. The biggest thing that I questioned and put a highlight through was that they've decided to go with the Apprentice. So I thought it was a nice run here by the filly. I thought again they'd go with that 56 kilos and go with that, but they've decided to claim, so 53. It brings her into the race, but it adds a little bit of intrigue to it as well from barrier 1.
Michael Lilla as well is an interesting one down there. David Harrison trains. Look, we haven't seen the best of her at the racetrack, but got ability. Thought
it was a really good performance last start behind the Celt. Was tracking up nicely and just working into the race really well. It was just when it had to change to the inside that just lost a little bit of momentum. I think it takes plenty of improvement for that run again. Barrier 3 gets a lovely run, expecting to put in a nice performance, but as we mentioned from the top, I think this is a race for number 2, Deadly Shot, to win. From number 5, Melting Point, 6, Bounce Down, and number 10, SAMOVARE.
As do I, number 2, Deadly Shot. From the 10, SAMOVARE, 6, Bounce Down, and 5, Melting Point.
Race number 4 at Belmont Park. It is Perth race number 6. It's over the 1,000 metres, and I'm really looking forward to this race, Mark. A lot of horses in form. Castle Retreat, quite possibly in its career best form again. Brackets was very good first up. Jack and Sam so consistent. 2 Silver Trees and Coletta both winning both last start.
Yeah, some Saturday form lines in there as well, Adam. But let's have a look at Coletta's last start win, beating Tentadin.
A length and a half away then came Kalita, tented and under pressure coming down the outside. Behind them, Streets of London popped the question, and they're being followed further back at the head of the others then by Hughes Got It, but Kalita reaches the lead. It's Kalita with 100 left to go, sprinting away now. Sharpened right up with the blinkers on. Kalita coming away from Tentadin, and then Mr. McBoo, but Kalita blew them away. And
well, we mentioned previously the blinkers for Massachusetts. That's exactly what this horse needed. We watched the trial and we questioned, was it the soft track? Was it just that this mare mare hadn't returned in great style. Simon Miller said all it was the blinkers. They put them on and then she was able to win by 2.5 lengths. Very impressive as well. Now she does step up in grade, but from barrier 2 with 54 kilos, should get that really nice run again. There's a bit of speed in the race and I can see her making it back-to-back victories.
Number 5 as well, Jack and Sam, has to be respected. Down from 72 plus class and only carrying the 56.5 here. Only 0.5 lengths off Hot Goods and 2 lengths off 3 votes. Long head off Pop Hero, who's since come out and win on Saturday as well, so strong form lines.
Very surprised to see that you and I both had this galloper on top. I did everything possible to not put Jack and Sam on top. I thought it certainly had to be in the numbers. It's had the 77 career starts, won on 9 occasions, is placed on a further 17, is an 8-year-old now as well. But the form lines are just too good to ignore. Pop Hero coming out and winning since. Audience been racing well, as you mentioned. 3 votes and Hot Goods, good form lines. And then you add in barrier 4, and I thought with the speed in the race from horses like On a Downtown Train, also 2 Silver Trees, Kalita as well, this horse is just going to get a lovely track throughout and should get the final crack at them. Look, it doesn't win too much around a turn, but should get the run of the race, and I think is a good chance at each way odds.
And Paul Tapper, of course, has had a couple of winners in recent times, so the stable seems to be going well and in good spirits. Also got there number 2, Castle Retreat. You just have to take note of this horse. He's won over $340,000 in stakes. So Aaron Mitchell's 2 kilo claims come into play here, and it's been running well, only 2 lengths off Black Dynamite a couple of starts ago.
The form lines, and they've been racing in similar races with Jack and Sam, are actually better. The only reason why I haven't got Castle Retreat on top is just because of the barrier. I think it's going to get caught wide, and Jack and Sam's going to get that perfect run. So Castle Retreat, as I mentioned, it is in career best form. The form lines are certainly holding up. They are Saturday types, and this horse, as you mentioned, the Paul Jordan stable going nicely too, so it can certainly win.
Just quickly as well, 2 Silver Trees we'll touch on. Won at Northam last start, won its maiden at Northam as well by 5 lengths. Is it just a Northam horse, do you think, Adam?
I don't know if we go with Northern, but I just need to see it again. That's the simple fact with this galloper. It had the dream run. It was given a gun run by Taylor Stone on that occasion from barrier 2. The form lines from that race, I'm not sure how good they are, but it was a nice win by 3 lengths. Barrier 5, 52 kilos. If this horse is going to start progressing, she needs to be very competitive here again. So for me, it's a sit and watch, and I'm going to go with number 5, Jack and Sam, as we mentioned. From 8, Kalita, number 4, Brackets, and 2, Castle Retreat.
I've got the 5 on top as well, Adam, as you mentioned. Jack and Sam on top. From the 8, Kalita, number 7, 2 Silver Trees, and the 2, Castle Retreat.
Quick,